My name is Shauna Green. I am from Samson Cree Nation, which is in Hobiema, Alberta. I was, I've been living in British Columbia since I was 17 years old. I'm 33 now, and I attended the TRC conference in Victoria in April of 2012, and I was quite disturbed by a lot of the things that I saw. First of all, I was disturbed by the amount of money that was spent on the whole event. It was put on at the Empress Hotel. There was literature. I don't know how many pieces of paper I got, pens, little pins, a whole bunch of stuff. I just couldn't believe how much money was spent on a show. The minute I got there, I just knew that this was a great big show to bury what really went on with the government and the churches involved. The first day I went was the Friday. Where they had a big celebration at night. I went as a drummer, and I attended the night ceremony. And what put me off and what put a lot of people off is that BC Hydro did a great big presentation. And they did this screen show first on a big screen, and they showed only the happy pictures of residential school. They didn't show the pictures of, all the kids that had tuberculosis put together in the same room as healthy children. They didn't show those pictures. They didn't show of the children that had no teeth and the children that had their hair cut off that were crying. They just showed these happy pictures of children in clean uniforms and smiling. I could not understand the first night why Shaw Cable put on a presentation and why BC Hydro was there. It made no sense, but once learning about things from Unrepentant, it made sense. It proved to me that really there's these big corporations that are making money. They are still working together with the churches, or big companies like that wouldn't care and they wouldn't be there. So that was my first impression of Friday night. I had decided that I wanted to do my own statement, so I was determined to get up. The next morning I got up really early and I made sure that I was in Victoria, because I live about 40 minutes away from Victoria. I was determined to go and give my statement. And so I hadn't arrived just in time, but they had told me that they already had their public speakers chosen. And I had found out the guidelines for being chosen. You have to, they ask you what you're going to say. Basically, they want to know what you're going to go up there and say. And then they must go from a list and pick, okay, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe, and then they let those people speak. So I definitely was not, I for one was too late, or they just simply saw my intent and decided they didn't want to have me up there publicly speaking to people. So I gave my private statement. The only question that they did ask, or the only legal thing that they did tell me was that, two legal things is that they could use my audio recording anywhere they wanted, whenever they wanted, and that the only thing they really did seem to care about is if I said that I was going to harm myself, or if my child was being harmed, they had to report that. But nothing about, like, if there were crimes committed, they were going to help you fix it, or if you knew of crimes being committed, they were going to help you. Like, there was anything like that. It was a great big show. There was another impression to me that the money that was given to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was spent on a show. It's a big show. So I gave my statement anyways. I did it in a way just because I wanted to heal a little bit, and I just wanted the experience so I could talk about it. And so I did my thing, and then I still was determined to go and give my statement, which I did later out in the public. But that morning we went to the big hall, and I think it was the main room for the TRC, and I walked in right when one of the bishops, a couple bishops were there, Archbishop was there, and some priests from the Anglican Church, the United Church, and a Presbyterian church, I'm sure. I wish I would have gotten the names of who was speaking and where they were from, but all I know is that I walked into a room of lies, in a room of people covering up their, I don't know, I walked into, like, it just felt like a big theater, like the feeling in the room, like that they were going to crucify someone. It was awful in there. The first person that I heard speaking was a priest, and I'm not sure where he was from, but he basically told, he was talking about how, like, I can't believe he got the gall to get up to the mic and say, we took away your children. And he's saying this to a whole bunch of Native residential school survivors. He told them, we took your children away from you because we didn't feel that you could take care of them. We thought that we could give them a better life. And at that point, which I thought was the highlight of the TRC, was when the survivors started yelling, liar, liar, tell the truth, because he wasn't telling the truth. And you could hear it in his voice that he was lying. What bothered me even more is that all these archbishops and these bishops and these priests all got front row, like movie stars. And all the, like, you know, the residential school people should have been in the front row. It was awesome. It was probably like 10 minutes in those people's lives where they felt, I get to stand up for what happened to me. And then big old Justice Murray Sinclair stands up in his $700 shirt, paid for by Canadians' taxes, I'm sure. He gets up and tells them that they have to give respect to the bishops and the priests there, that they have to give them the respect and let them say what they want. You know, and I couldn't believe that, you know, you couldn't even let those people go on for a little while and talk about, you know, this event is supposed to be for them, but they have to be quiet. That's what I don't understand. So after Murray Sinclair sat down and everyone did become silent, they did respect what he said, this woman who was saying, liar, liar, trying to stand up for herself, she just broke down in tears and wailed like someone had just died. Probably part of her heart just broke because she probably felt she had the chance to stand up for herself and then was crushed by one of her own people. So more archbishops and priests got up and talked about how they thought they were doing the right thing and how that they and I don't recall sorry ever being said. I recall just this this attitude, like they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that there was no responsibility. White people could just talk and talk forever, but it seemed like when the Native people talked that they had like there was always like a worker or one of the TRC workers by them, and it was to watch that they didn't say anything that would jeopardize this whole, you know, like that would embarrass the situation. And the same thing happened to me. Like I was definitely watched. The Friday of the night before, I just wanted to take a picture of all the different things, the funding of who was funding the TRC, and I didn't have a piece of paper, so I was just taking pictures.
Could you list who funded the TRC?
Yeah, it was Shaw Cable, BC Hydro, the United Church, the Anglican Church of Canada, and the Presbyterian churches, all funded. And these are the very people that, and of course the Government of Canada, these are the very people that put people in residential school. The very people that created all this chaos for the Native people, and then have the gall to say, we were just trying to help you. I had all these copies burned of Unrepentant because I think every Canadian should probably see Unrepentant because it's the truth. It's the truth of what happened in Canada. And I, first of all, tried to have it played through my job. I tried to have it played at the filming. They're going to have some screenings about residential school. And I had Unrepentant on the list, and it sounded like we were going to have it played. And then like 2 days before it happened, it got pulled, which I kind of thought would happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but it did. And then I ended up not being able to do what I was going to do. And then so I just burned my own copies, brought them there on Saturday. And I was just I went up to the media and tried to get them to take one. And she wouldn't take one. As soon as I said Kevin Annette's name, she just, her face changed, her body language changed. And I just asked her if she would even watch it, and she just said no, probably not. And so I took back my Unrepentant DVD, and it just seemed like a lot of people didn't want didn't want me to show it. And the TRC did not want it played there. And I asked, it wasn't, she was an assistant to one of the commissioners, and I asked her why she wouldn't play Unrepentant. And I already knew the answer, but I said it to her and she just scoffed at me. She just went, "Oh, like, you silly Native girl." Like, it was insane, the reaction to this film. And that's how I knew that this whole TRC thing is just it's a big show. It's just a big fakery. It's like these people met in a room, these bad people, they met in a room and they decided, let's have a big show to make it look like we're helping them. In reality, they knew that the TRC would bring out these hearings, that it would bring out emotions and post-traumatic stress disorder and suicide. They knew that. It's part of this Native killing machine. Because if these people truly wanted to help people and wanted things to change, they would have let me hand out Unrepentant. They would have played Unrepentant, because they wouldn't be afraid. But that's how afraid people are of the truth. And that's why Unrepentant wasn't played at the TRC, because it is the most honest thing about what happened. And because all those people who are involved, the Anglican Church, the Vatican, the Roman Catholic Church, of course, the Protestant, I keep saying Presbyterian, Protestant Church, all of these people with the government, and now bigger companies like BC Hydro, Shaw Cable, like, these are energy companies. Like, they're all working together. It's all business, and they're using religion and politics to blind people. When they're just big fat businessmen, or business ladies, businessmen. They don't give a crap about people. They don't give a crap about taxpayers, The Indians are the best excuse, or the best scapegoat, politicians and church people will ever have. And that's why we need to stand up and not take it anymore.
My name is Sylvester Green, and I live here in Vancouver. I've been here for 21 years, and originally from Hazelton, BC, and I went to Edmonton residential school for 10 years. And this year, March 2nd, for 3 days there, they had Truth and Reconciliation Forum, and different people from around the world came. I didn't really care about the TRC forum because there was no chance for us survivors to speak, and I was very disappointed in what was going on there. They said for us not to mention any names of the perpetrators, but I said on the 2 cameras in front of everybody in the circle there, I said, "This is all bullshit." I said, "Here's the names of the people that abused me, 3 white assholes that abused me in Edmonton." I said Jim Ludford and Mr. Moore and Burns McCatherine. I said, "These bastards, they're the ones that abused me when I was a little kid." And
When you spoke, it wasn't at the TRC, it was in a healing circle, was it?
it was in the talking circle.
So in the TRC forum, they didn't let survivors speak?
No, we weren't allowed to, not allowed. They had mics there, but never had open mic for us survivors to speak.
How many survivors would you say were there?
From what I remember, all I could think of is about 10 survivors there. And let's see, that was all. And nobody, none of the survivors got up and spoke.